Today is the final day of Code A for this season. We have 4 more Code A spots to give away. We're first of all starting off with a group of 1 Protoss and 3 Zergs, and later on we've got 2 Terrans trying to make it to Code S. We'll see if they can do it.
So far in Code S we have the 3 Musketeers for Terran. Today we might see 2 more joining them. But right now it looks a little bit like, first of all, we're going to focus once again on the Zerg and Protoss players. And the Protoss player, let's just say he's not happy.
No, he's not.
We had a very funny incident earlier.
Yeah,
when,
I'll let you describe this.
Yeah, well, basically we were sitting in the backstage area and Seed came in. And so we were both like, so Seed, how's your Zerg versus Protoss? And he's like, And I asked him, what do you think about Daedalus Point? And we have in Korea these paper cups, these like small ones for when you get water. So you just got a water and he has a paper cup in his hand. And he looked at me, suddenly his face got dark and he was like, basically, I'm sorry for this, but he was like, fuck Zerg, fuck Daedalus Point, and he crushed the paper cup and water was dripping down his arm. Like, he was super mad. And he said, like, he's apparently 1 in 10 on the ladder on Daedalus Point against Zerg, and he was trying to practice the map and he has no idea what to do. So he was just standing there, water dripping down his arm and just shaking his head, saying like,
the best part of it all is like he then threw his cup on the ground. And he was really angry, but like no one in the makeup room besides us like even took notice.
They probably see that every day when they ask someone about this map. Yeah, so Seed wasn't happy at all about the map choice. He has no real idea what he's going to do there. We might see some funny strategies later, but first of all, of course, we are having 3 Zergs in that group as well. And the Zerg players, we have Dark, we have Broke, we have Pet, and then of course the Protoss player is Seed, who has apparently a pretty good Protoss versus Zerg, at least if you can believe State, who practiced with him a long time. So we're going to find out later if he's able to do that. Yesterday's results, on the other hand, featured a Terran and a Protoss player advancing to Code S.
Supernova was able to get out of the group as a Terran. His mech play was pretty awesome. Was not able to take out Stats. Stats literally won his way through with basically dealing with the best, which was pretty easy for him, and then he went up against Supernova and made carriers. 2 games, made carriers, 2 games he won, and he advanced straight to Code S in first place. And then in our evening group, we had DRG and Sora advancing. Hack in reality, no such luck.
Yeah, Hack in reality didn't have the luck yesterday that they needed to advance the next round, and it also meant that we had the 2 Terran players in the group drop out once more. And there were some interesting statistics on Reddit these days and also on Team Liquid. Apparently, no Terran player that faced the Protoss in the last few matches, in the last groups, was able to make it out of Code A into Code S.
Well, here's today's early group. Savage, aka Rogue. I think his official Kespa ID is Rogue, but for some reason still listed as Savage here. Who knows? But his same player is up against Dark in his EVZ, and then later we'll have Seed versus Pet. And Seed definitely going to have a fun time in this group if he can get past the Daedalus, because he only has to practice for 1 matchup. He only has to play PvZ. Yep. The Zergs have to prepare for both.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, he prepared for 1 matchup, so he could focus all his attention on the Zerg versus Protoss, and of course also on which maps he's going to face. And he knows already that Zerg players are going to pick Daedalus against him. So if anybody came up with a couple of good strategies that he can use on this map, it's going to be Seed.
Yeah, I think... I mean, Seed's a player who's been really innovative in the past. His very first televised match, he hallucinated Immortals to do a fake and hit a base on Lost Temple just because he was like, well, this is close spawns, I got to do something tricky, I got to do something sneaky here.
I suggested 4-gate. That caused a laugh, so we might actually see that. I don't know. It looked a little bit like he was already grasping at straws, and like he was like, why not? I don't have anything that works better than that. I might as well. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna find out what he does later. First of all, of course, we're gonna have a look at the first Zerg versus Zerg matchup of the day.
Yep, it's gonna be Rogue over here. You know, I feel like Rogue suits him much better than Savage as an ID. I feel like he could definitely equip a 1-2 dagger for 2 mana. And he's up against Dark, who's kind of like, I feel like he's, based on the way he was described when he was first on Slayers, he seems like Boxer and Cella's like failed experiment. He's a Zerg player that everyone was saying was like up and coming. He's one of the best Zergs. Nobody knows about him. He's a secret. And then he never really proved any big results. Played a few good games back on Slayers, and then moved into SK Telecom along with Boxer after Slayer's disbanded, and this is his first televised match in a while we've seen out of this guy.
Yeah, Daedalus Point is going to be the map, so let's jump right into it and let's see what we can expect from those two Zerg players today. Let's get a first glimpse. Map number 1 here in Zerg versus Zerg. Savage versus Dark at the GSL Code S Champions.
Savage versus Dark.
Starting to the top left, we have the Zerg player that is also known as Rogue by now. We're going to call him Savage here, since that's what the overlay is currently showing, so that there's no confusion. He's starting for Jin Air Green Wings in the first Zerg versus Zerg of the day against his opponent at the bottom right, starting on Daedalus Point here versus Dark for SKT1.
Dark,
Ooh, 9 pool.
yeah, he's up against something Dark.
Juicy.
And there goes 9 pool. 2-player map, big burst distance on the map. I thought, or on the ramp, big choke. Not really a choke at all, in fact. I don't even know what I call it. The top of the ramp is wide. I thought we might see something like this, or at least some speedling aggression, because this map has a huge ramp, and it's very impossible to wall.
Yeah. Lings, Banelings, that's what you can expect on this map in particular, just because walls are not really all that effective. And we have now gas being taken by Dark, but the one thing that we are still missing is a pool here. But with the gas, we already know that he's not going into a hatch first, so that's not going to happen here. With, of course, also him being a little bit suicidal. He gets instead the 14 pool, and that leaves him in a really good position against what we currently see from Savage.
Yep. He's going to... Actually, I think what might happen in this game is if Dark can defend this well, he's going to be able to counterattack with speedlings and probably end the game like so easily.
Well, the thing is that we see from Savage currently a build that goes straight into Baneling, so he's not going to research speed here. He's just going to get his Zerglings out there, or straight for the Baneling nest, and Dark will have to counter that somehow. So one case would be him building straight a Baneling nest as well. That's probably the best chance that he has here. If not, researching speed, yes, that will allow him to go into counter-attack, but that only allows him to run into Banelings faster. Of course, also to dodge them, dodge the side. But still, I think with the Baneling nest here, that's probably where he wants to spend his gas.
Yeah, I think that's what he will definitely do first, that's for sure. And
he sees the Lings.
He sees them, and he's pretty confident now, going, okay, well, I didn't go for a hatch first. So he starts speed, actually, and he's just going to spend the rest of his minerals getting Zerglings out. We'll probably start a Spine Crawler soon too, I expect, just to be super safe, because his Queen isn't out yet.
With him going for the speed here, he's really confident in his abilities to fend those Banelings off. He has to expect that there might be a Baneling nest behind this, so currently what we see from him is just a speed upgrade, but he has only 1 Queen. Relying on the Queen, of course, is going to help him quite a bit. But he needs to keep a good eye on all those Zerglings. If there are a few Banelings that just run into his mineral line, he has a problem. And that's currently what Savage is trying to do. Now the Banelings are there. 2 of them. The Queen is out as well. And of course we see the second Queen for Dark, who tries to defend against this now. He needs to have good targeting.
Targeting so far is decent, but he's going to lose his Queen. And, I mean, that's all she wrote, I guess, for this first push. But he's got 2 more Banelings morphing right now. He needs a Spine Crawler because his Queen isn't ready yet. And even with a Spine Crawler, he's going to have a little bit of trouble. He's just outnumbered in Zerglings.
Yeah, the Zergling numbers are currently, actually, I don't know, because we don't have the tab. There we go, 12-5. Spine Crawler had to be cancelled. 2 additional Banelings are already in the game. And the Queen is now out, but still, the Zerglings are gone for Dark. Here comes that Baneling, and he takes down a few of the units, brings those drones down to 5 HP, and things are looking pretty grim for Dark here.
He has speed now, and he gets a huge wave of Zerglings here with that inject, the first inject, and now...
Actually, with the speed that he has and no Banelings, he's going to throw that back quite easily.
Yeah, and he's going to have... This is what the counterattack I was talking about. He's just going to run across the map, and there's nothing that Savage can do about it.
Yeah, just when I was about to say, or when I said that Dark has a problem, I had another quick look at the Harvester station, and we actually have still a surplus for him in Harvesters, even though he lost a few. And now with the speed, he can go for the counter-aggression. He can always force the fight. Savage just didn't have Banelings ready anymore.
Yeah, and basically he's going to have to micro his Speedlings against Banelings much easier with fast Zerglings than it is with slow ones.
Yep.
And as long as he doesn't take too many big hits, or if he just gets his own Baneling, that's what he is doing at home. Oh, that was so... If Savage had X'd that, man, that would have been a disaster. That was still a really good hit.
Yeah, the thing is that we have already now drones coming up for Dark. He has the Queen, that is a big advantage, and he has also, I mean, he has basically a lot of advantages right now that he can use in the game. Especially the Queen is going to help him a lot with the production. He will always have more units than his opponent unless he runs into... Oh, okay, this is basically the game. No banelings anymore.
No banelings. He's just going to fight. He's going to get the faster surround. Any drones he gets here at all is going to be a win for him, and it looks like he's actually just going to get all of them.
Yeah, you need to use that baneling well and have one ready. If you lose all the banelings, then the speedlings are just going to kill all of the rest.
GG.
That was I thought he could do more damage with the banelings, but he didn't really have the control there. Dark takes game number 1.
The Dark basically was so confident against this, he just said, I'm going to get speed up, and I'm not even going to worry about getting my own banelings nest. He didn't even get a spine crawler until very late, and then it didn't even finish. Putting off a smile here. That was a pretty solid defense by him. But I feel like the micro from both players could have been a little bit better, especially from Savage.
Especially from Savage, exactly. He had only 2 banelings at the beginning. He built 2 banelings, tried to use them, got another 2. He didn't kill too much with them. He got the Queen, and after the Queen went down without a spine crawler, I really thought he would be able to do a little bit more, but then didn't get those hits off that he needed.
Savage and Dark here both keeping their hands warm. Yunsu is the map choice. It's another 2-player map. Could see another early pool, would not be surprised. And I feel like Dark's got some great Zerg practice partners you can work with, like Sue, for example. And I'm really curious to see how he's going to do in this group, because we just don't really get to see Dark play very often.
And so far it's looking good. Game number 1 with a good defense.
I expect a lot from Savage in this group, but so far Dark shut down his aggression. I hope we get to see, at least in this series, one long game between the two, or medium-length game where we get into lair tech, and we don't just see, you know, baneling speedling. That's Daedalus point for you, though. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why we saw that build in Game 1 in the first place.
Yeah, both players weren't even trying to go for an expansion there. We saw gas taken right at the start, so that was kind of what you would expect on a map like Daedalus. A lot of aggression right from the get-go. And now we're going into game number 2 on Yonsu. Dark in 1-0 lead versus Savage. Let's see if we can get the 2-0 here.